Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Tales from Under the Sea. Ariel's new friends. One morning, Ariel went off by herself for a nice refreshing swim. She stopped for a moment when she heard a noise behind her. Help! Help! Who's there? Ariel asked, looking around. Help! Help! Over here! Ariel turned and saw a young merman. His arm was caught in a giant oyster shell. I'm so glad to see you, said the merman. I've been trapped here for hours. How'd you get stuck like this? Asked Ariel. Were you trying to steal a pearl? No, I wasn't, said the merman. I'm here because of grouchy old Driftwood. He lives in that cave over there with two stingrays, Smudge and Sludge. My older brother dared me to go knock on his door and get him to come out. You didn't, said Ariel. I can never refuse to dare, so I went up and banged on the door. Then what happened? Asked Ariel. He came out, took one look at me and grabbed my arm. My brother took one look at old Driftwood and was off like a shot. The old guy brought me over to the slimy oyster, pried open the shell, stuck my arm in, and left me. I've been here ever since. Well, said Ariel, I'm not strong enough to open the shell, but I think I know another way. Ariel began to sing, hoping the ocean would listen and be moved by her request. Her voice was pure and brilliant as a single strand of gold. Open up, beautiful shell, and set this merman free. Of this act I'll never tell, and forgiven you shall be. Slowly, as Ariel repeated her song and the shell began to open, the young merman pulled out his arm and sighed with release. Thanks, he said with a grin. You're pretty amazing. What's your name? My name's Gil. Hello, Gil. I'm Ariel, said Ariel so shyly. Not Princess Ariel, youngest daughter of King Triton, said Gil. That's me, she said. Just then, old Driftwood opened his door slightly and stuck his head out. Eyes blazing, he shook his fist and shouted, That's it. I've had enough of this racket. Get out of here before I make chowder out of both of you. Get them, Sludge. Sting them, Smudge. The two stringers burst out of old Driftwood and swam right towards Ariel and Gil. Let's go, shouted Gil, taking Ariel by the hand. They swam as fast as they could, with Sludge and Smudge in hot pursuit. Ariel and Gil swam until they were out of breath, finally losing Sludge and Smudge in a forest of sea kelp. Well, you did even better than your brother asked. Not only did you knock his door, but you even got old Driftwood to talk to you, said Ariel. Then why do I feel so bad about the whole thing? Asked Gil. Could it because you and your brother were trying to play a trick on a lonely old man? Said Ariel gently. Gil hung his head. Do you really think he's lonely? How couldn't he be? Said Ariel. After all, he lives all the way out here by himself, with no one but two stingrays for company. Well, he's still a grouch, said Gil. Did you and your brother ever think he's grouchy because no one's ever nice to him? Oh, said Gil, you really are amazing. Well, what can we do about it if it's true? Ariel thought for a moment. Come on, she said, taking Gil by the arm. Where are we going? He asked. Back to knock on old Driftwood's door again, answered Ariel. She watched as she began gathering seagrass, coral moss, and sparkling shells. She arranged them in a beautiful croquet bouquet. Gil wrinkled his nose. That stuff's for girls, he said. Old Driftwood's not going to like it. Well, we don't know if we won't try, said Ariel. Well, they arrived at old Driftwood's cave. Ariel went up to the door and softly knocked once. She dropped okay on the door, swam and swam off. A few minutes passed before Driftwood opened his door. Sludge and Smudge glided out in front of him. What's this? He said. A bouquet, eh? He looked around and saw Ariel and Gil. What do you young mer people want with me anyway? He called out. Just like to visit you for a while, sir, said Ariel as politely as she could. That's right, said Gil. Could you tell us about when you were young? That seemed just the right thing to say. Old Driftwood's eyes lit up. When I was young? You really want to know about that? Yes, said Ariel and Gil. Well, come in. Sludge and Smudge won't hurt you, said Driftwood with a smile. They're all zing and no sting. Well, when I was young, we liked to play tricks on the sailors. We'd knock on the bottoms of their fishing boat and get them wondering what was going on beneath them. Ha! I've got dozens of stories. Come in, come in. Old Driftwood ushered the young merpeople into his house. Much later that afternoon, Gil and Ariel were on their way home, full of sea cakes and wonderful stories. I'm very glad my brother didn't read a knock on his door, said Gil. Me too, said Ariel. You might ask him to come with us when we go back to visit next week. And that's just what Gil did. Okay, this is called a little poem called The Song of Scuttle. A feathery, fluttery mess of a bird, whose clumsy both feet make him look absurd. Is that how you think of the Song of Scuttle? Well, there's no more to him than just a big muddle. Now did you know that old Scuttle the gull knows every ship from sail to hull? That his life's been filled with adventures and glory? Well, sit ye, lads, and I'll sing you his story. Scuttle's a friend to every seafaring man, to help us in every way that he can. He warns us whenever the winds are brewing, for he knows that a storm could be our undoing. So now to our hero, old Scuttle, a toast from the men he saved as they sailed coast to coast. Marinas are now a test of his glory, the mask of every sloop, raft, and dory. And that's the end. See you later.